My birthday was on Monday.
No, can't be. I distinctly remember. Your birthday was last year.
That's the funny thing about birthdays. They're kind of an annual thing.
And every year on my birthday, I give myself the little present of drawing a self-portrait because it gives me an excuse to draw something for myself that isn't related to anything except me. And I think everyone should be allowed to be just a little bit self-involved on their birthday. Now, the first time I did a drawing like this for my birthday was back in 2020, and it's this one. I did it on Affinity digitally, and they don't really have a screen record feature, so I don't really have a video of it, but it was really fun. It was a really fun process, and it was just for me, like I said, and then it became my icon on social media, and I'm trying to find something to replace it with because I don't really draw like that anymore. Then I did this one for 2021, and I really loved it, but I didn't think it matched. Now looking at it, I'm actually really mad at myself for not loving it more because this is iconic. If I replace my social media icons with anything, it actually might be this portrait because I learned to love it too late. And since I had done such a big portrait in 2021, I decided last year to make just a simple journal entry in my sketchbook. So it's just a few pages of self-portraits, and then I put some digital drawings on top of those just to have an excuse to vent because admittedly my birthday last year was not the best. A hurricane hit, we didn't have power for multiple days, and I got sad. So for this year's portrait, I decided that I really wanted to have fun. I wanted to experiment, make it look like my sketchbook art even though I'm doing it on Procreate. And this whole idea comes from this one portrait of me from when I was 3 years old. I think at earliest it was taken in late 1999 at Sears. This is a framed photograph that both my mother and grandmother have in the exact same frame in their houses. And frankly, I love it. It's also the only time I've ever had short hair in my life. Thus, the struggle during the sketch phase.
She's serving baby.
The coloring on that photo is really doing all of the work because for some reason I always associate that photo with an antique or something, even though it's clearly very 90s with that little bucket hat thing with flowers on it. Very Tia and Tamara. But I was trying to make it look like it was a photo of me in the 1910s, 1920s. So I looked up hats to have like a similar vibe to the one that I'm wearing in the photo. And I really struggled with hair because I knew that short hair was in, but I cannot see myself with short hair. I cannot associate myself with short hair. I haven't had short hair since I was 3 years old. And so I had to compromise and give myself a little ponytail. Is it fully historically accurate? No, but neither is the Sears photo. And this is for what? Fun. I also should point out that I did not really have a plan. I knew the vibes, but I didn't sketch anything out beforehand, and so most of this is really impulsive. And the beauty of the time-lapse feature is that no one knows how long you spend just staring at a piece of artwork and not actually working on it, because I had to take multiple breaks and just sort of stare at it because I didn't know where I was going with it. I was in the zone just working on the details of this shirt, and then suddenly I was at a loss because I didn't know if I wanted to recreate the exact background in the original picture. Spoilers, I did not. I just knew that I wanted it to feel vaguely old because I was going to make it sepia colored and then the rest was going to be really colorful. Once I was satisfied with what I looked like, I didn't really care about the background because I knew that if I went too hard on the background and made it look too much like the original picture, it was just going to get lost anyway. It was going to feel like too much. And can you tell I didn't plan anything? Why is this lopsided? And I don't really do this often just because I like to take my own references for things, and usually those characters don't look like me, but since it is me, I didn't mind tracing a little bit. Let's cheat. It's my birthday. Anyway, this is where things start to get a little experimental, so I'm going to take a break and talk about what I did on my birthday weekend. My mom, my grandma, and me went to go watch Monica Puig versus Venus Williams, and I kind of lost my mind a little bit. They also confiscated my signed ball, but don't worry, I got it back. And then on Monday, we went around a few places like bookstores and art stores. We stopped to get myself some cake, and the unofficial birthday theme this year was Shrek.
Oh, girls are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Or they make you cry?
No.
Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white hairs.
No. Layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
Oh, you both have layers.
We also stopped at Party City where I got my beautiful new daughter. Since my skeleton son was named Vincent, I named her Elvira. And now back to the birthday portrait. So since I was working on my iPad, I thought it would be a good idea to use the stickers that I've already made as digital stickers to try to capture what I tend to do in my sketchbook, because I feel like there's a big difference between the work I make in my sketchbook and the work that I do digitally, and I really want to merge the two together. I don't want there to be such a difference between the two. The flowers and the sun and moon are designs that I already sell as stickers, and then the picture of me as a child is from last year's self-portrait, and then the cakes are from an illustration that I have saved on my iPad. So I'm essentially cutting out stickers out of art that I already made, which forces me to sort of think in a very collage-y way. I have to pick out what I want to include, even though I have the ability to draw it already, because that way it forces me to be like, no, I want to add this, and I can make duplicates of it as many times as I want, but I don't want to keep adding too much. I also added little magazine letters because in my sketchbook, I tend to use those little magazine letter stickers to write down things because I don't have the best lettering. And here I'm just adding sort of sticker-esque outlines to a lot of the other drawings so that they pop out more and don't blend into the self-portrait. I'm giving myself the illusion of paper. I also add texture to this later. I really want to make more art like this in the future. I kind of just use art that I've already made, like mash them together. I think it's really fun because that way I don't have to source other images. I don't have to look for other things to collage with. I can just use my own art, and I'm mad at myself for not thinking about that sooner. But at this point, I started to experience that feeling where you're like, I don't know if this is finished yet or not, and I don't want to overwork it, so I left it alone for the entire weekend. And when I came back to it, I made just a few little tweaks. I started making some of them appear more like stickers by taking out some color or some details that I thought were too muddy. I added a slice of cake, and then I started adding a few more things for sentimental reasons. I added this little car specifically as sort of a little tribute to my grandpa. He just passed away this year, and I'm still really sad about it, but I wanted to include him in my portrait, and then I really felt like I had finished the drawing. I felt like I needed to include him. He really loved vintage cars, so I added one in it. I put his initials on this one later too. I think you're gonna see it later. And I added those little flower clouds from SpongeBob because we used to call him SpongeBob. He had a little gap tooth smile and a bunch of little freckles. Anyway, I don't want to bum myself out. Once I did that, it actually felt finished. So this is the final birthday portrait. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and if you'd like to stick around on my channel for other videos, I have something very silly coming up for October. Thanks for watching!